Welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to be showing you how to build a wooden porch so that a restaurant can have outdoor seating like you see right here. Please stay tuned and continue watching until the end because we're going to be showing you the entire process of how we build everything, how we reinforced all of the structure, adding these corner pieces and all of the exterior wood, the supports, and then the laminate that we're going to put on the top so that way people can enjoy this outdoor seating area without being rained on. And we're going to show the entire process of how we did this in a little bit. If you want to learn how to do all kinds of handyman work projects, DIY projects, and home renovations, then you're in the best place here on YouTube, since that's all we do here at Frank's Handyman Service. Consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and activate the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any future videos that we're going to be uploading. What you see right here is a structure that we're building so far. It is currently raining on us, but the good thing is we can do all of this even if we have this kind of weather. On the perimeter here at the base, you see this long stretch of wide pressure treated board that we put on the bottom, and that we had to put that so that way these vertical 6x6 posts, we put some brackets, and it helps to stabilize them better. And once we have the structure layout, the whole size, the length, and the width, we put in these vertical 6x6 posts and secured them to the bottom. Then we're starting to work on putting these brackets. We're going to be bracing and reinforcing the structure with 4x6 posts like you see right here. We're going to put them all along the perimeter of the entire covering, and then we're going to put them across in certain areas like this one right here. So that's what we're doing. We're putting this hardware especially for attaching a 4x6 post. And so once we do that, we're also getting this wooden railing, getting it constructed and built. To do this is pretty straightforward. We just ran a string line from one end to the other, and then from here we just need a couple of guys. One is holding it at the right below the string line, and then the other person is helping us to screw in the wooden board. It's just a thin one that we're using, and the ends we're cutting them at an angle so that way when it connects one with the other, it goes flush with the connection. And then on each 6x6 post, we're starting to just screw it into the board. And then this is the end of one side, so we just cut it right there and end it. And from there, we're just going to continue it over here. Between putting the hardware at the top and the railing, we're able to do these two things simultaneously, so that way we can advance a little bit easier. But this is the 4x6 on the top. We have it pretty much like on most of the perimeter. We're going to be working on the other side, the outer one, and then these are the boards. We're going to start continuing to work on this, but we're just measuring from one end and getting exactly what we need. We use a level as well. Since we ran the string line on the other side, we're just getting it as close as we can, making sure that it's level. And we're going to be having 4 pieces of wood along the entire outer perimeter. But basically, to do all of this, we're just wanting to advance the best way possible. Now, in order to put those 4x6 posts, we have that metal hardware. We're screwing it in close to the top of the post. We have a little of an example that you see he's using It's metal hardware that he put with a little piece of a board, and that's just to make sure that he's got the opening that's needed and the position. So once you have those in place, then I'll show you here how we put those 4x6 posts. But the only tool that he's using is the square. So he has a square and a pencil, and he's just putting it in the exact location on each one. So once he has all of those, then he's measuring from the inside, and we found out that we had a perfect square. The whole structure is nice and square. So we're gonna get these 4x6 pressure treated boards. Now for the whole skeleton of the structure, we recommend to use this especially on an outdoors area. This pressure treated boards is not gonna rot. It's gonna last you a lot more years than if you use like regular wood. So for all of the supports, everything, most of it, we're gonna be using pressure treated, and that's what we're doing right here. We had measured it before, so we're just gonna cut these boards, and then we're gonna go ahead and present it where it needs to be. Once you place it into the slot, now we made sure that the opening was nice and ready, so that way we can just simply insert it into there, and then we're just pushing it so that way it's nice and snug. And once it's in position, then we go ahead and screw in through the hardware into the pressure treated board, so that way it attaches and it's going to be secure. Now these braces, these cross boards, it helped to keep the structure more stable, and we definitely noticed a huge difference. We put 1, 2, 3, I think we put about 4 throughout this whole length. And so meanwhile we do that, we're just gonna continue to do the same process. We're starting to put this outer one here, and pretty much just measuring and getting exactly what we need, putting it in there, and then we just screw in each one of those, and that's going to give us the outer shell, the outer skeleton. So that way later we're going to be putting in the hardware on the top. This has it's only leaning one way, and on the top we're going to be putting in this laminate roof. Now this isn't metal, it's more of like a fiber, like almost like a type of a fiberglass or something. We picked it up at our local Home Depot hardware store, and it's very lightweight, flexible, very practical for this kind of application. But this side on the right, it's taller than the left side. It's gonna lean towards the street, the entire roof. So right now we're placing these metal hardware, so we're going to be putting 2x4s directly on top of the supports. Those metal hardwares are about 24 inches apart from each other, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But this is how everything's coming along with the railing. It's starting to come out really nice and just really beautiful. So these metal hardwares, we're putting them approximately 24 inches apart from each other. The reason is because the material, the laminate that we're going to put on top, that's what it measures. So we want to make sure that the 2x4s that we're going to be placing all along the top, that the laminate is going to rest right on top of each 2x4, and we're going to be able to screw it in on the edge. So that's why this measurement, it's going to depend on the material, the width and whatnot, of how far apart you're going to want to have them from each other. But you're just going to follow that measurement, and I'll show you a little here in a little bit how we work the laminate portion. But the good thing is we're almost getting ready here, or getting done with the railing. This is pretty straightforward. We also have a little 2x4 that we cut like in about 6 inches, and we're using that as a guide. I'm putting it right there between each wooden railing, so we make sure that we have the same gap all the way through. And then once we have it close, then we just screw it in at an angle into the 6x6 post, and that's what gives us the same uniform look all the way through, like you see right here. So we pretty much got done with all this railing portion. It's all completed here. We have this perimeter pressure treated board that you see right here along the edge that I mentioned. We had to put that in there so that way we can put in the 6x6 brackets, so we can attach the post directly to this pressure treated board at the bottom. And then from there we just start working on the top that we've been doing. And from here we're going to be able to put in those 2x4s all the way through. And you see those red bins, that's what the city put in there because we can't go farther than those red construction bins. So everything that we're using here, we're making sure that it fits within the guidelines and the parameters of the space that the city allowed us to place over here. Especially these laminates, we're gonna have to cut them down about 10 inches each one, because we noticed that if we put this length up there, it was extending farther than these construction bins, and we couldn't extend farther than that. So as you see right here, we put all the 2x4s. That's pretty straightforward. I wasn't able to record that process, but we just put them up there one by one, and then once they're in there, we just nail them into the hardware. Now once you have that up there, now we can go ahead and start screwing in all of these laminates. And that's how everything's coming along here. Starting to look really nice. We got a lot of compliments from customers and people walking through here. But we have this little cutter. We cut the first one, and we're going to be using that as a guide. We just put that on the edge and then just mark it with our construction pencil. And from there, we're just going to cut it manually. We're going to cut each one, and we're using that pencil and that guide so that we can get it as straight as possible. And so once we do that, we just set it aside, and we're gonna get many of these ready. It's always important to use safety glasses and earplugs and all the gloves and everything, especially on this kind of day. It was kind of rainy and cold and all kinds of stuff. So now right here we're starting to put the angle braces. This is something that it's not necessary, but it's something that will help you for sure to, it's kind of like decorative, you know, it's something that gives it a nice look. And it also helps a little bit to help kind of support, just adds a little bit more support on those angles right there. We've done it either way. We've left it just straight, or we've done it at an angle like this. Since it was for a restaurant, we decided to include these, and honestly it came out really nice. And we just cut them at an angle right there. We have the measurement, whatever we need from the longest portion, and then we cut the angle, and we're manually nailing them in there because we had like a nailer, an air gun, an air nailer, but it died on us, so we had to just do it old school style. So we're gonna do that on most of the areas, so make sure that it gives it that nice decorative look. And then from here we're gonna be able to start putting the laminate on top. So that's what I'm doing right here. And this is pretty straightforward. We basically just, on the bottom where the 2x4 is, I'm measuring 6 inches, like 5.5 to 6 inches away. The edge of the laminate needs to be 5.5 or 6 inches maximum away from the edge of the 2x4 that's on the bottom. So that's what I'm measuring right there. Once I have that, then I just start nailing it. When I have 2 of them up there, then I put the nail through 2 of the laminates. And then also in the middle, I put one right here close to the 3/4 of the way down. And then on this up side, I also put another nail. So throughout each edge of the laminate, I'm putting 4 nails. So this whole roof, it's gonna be very well attached to the structure. And so that way, in case there's any like a lot of wind or rain or whatever, snow, because it tends to snow here, like not very much but a little bit. So even hail, whatever gets thrown onto this, by doing it this way, we made sure that it's nice and stable and reinforced, so that way there's no problems in the future. But that's the process of how I'm gonna be attaching the laminate to the top. We're just basically screwing them carefully into making sure that it goes into the 2x4. Actually, sorry, it's a 2x6. That's what it is that we're using for the top. Yeah, because it looks a lot bigger, or bigger than a 2x4 for sure. So yeah, those are 2x6s, and we're basically using the same thing, 2x6s for the outer edge. And we decided to add this as well for aesthetics. When we did this is all little extras that we decided to include, and it definitely made a huge difference. So this panel that you see, the laminate is popping out. I actually attached it and I forgot to cut it, so we just left it like that, and we're gonna come back later and cut that so that way it's the same length as the rest of the laminates. And once we get completed with all this, then the homeowner, he's gonna put some string lights along the ceiling, and it's just gonna make it look really beautiful, really rustic and romantic, homey, whatever you want to call it. It's gonna be really nice, well built structure. If you see there on the bottom of the screen, there's other restaurants that have put in like a tent style, but that's more temporary. You know, this one right here, it's gonna be, they can have it for years, and as long as the city allows them, you know, they're gonna be able to enjoy it and use it for many years to come. Now, one note, I don't know if you look at the edge of the laminate that you see right here, it tends to pop out more as it comes towards our direction over here. Now, we kind of had a miscommunication between me and my dad when we were installing this. We decided to continue the straight line, but he didn't measure it any further, so we noticed that it was popping out a lot more, so we had to actually remove like half of them and readjust them and measure. So that's what you see right here. But that's pretty much the process of how we did this entire wooden covered porch for the exterior of a restaurant. It's pretty much like right next to the public sidewalk, so people can walk out from the restaurant and go straight into these benches, and the food and the service and everything, it's very seamless. The roof, it covers a good portion of it. It extends a little bit out of the area. So any people that are out here, if you put some heaters, like some propane heaters and everything, I mean, this is an investment that it's worth every penny, and it's going to attract a lot of people. We were getting so many compliments as we were building this, and we actually have another customer that wants to build one around the corner. We hope you liked this video. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and activate the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any future videos that we're going to be uploading. May God bless you, and we'll see you on the next one.